Hi, this is Kate Bosworth. I'm with my dog Happy on the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast, episode number 246, where tonight we are going to be talking about 2022's Barbarian. I am Joe, and I, of course, am joined by Steve. We are toddlers for right now, but Todd is going to be coming on. He is having some computer issues, but he will be on very shortly. Also, happy Hocus Pocus 2 release day, everyone. I know a lot of you are excited for that. A lot of people planning special parties, special events, anything like that. So, Steve, what about you? You plan anything special for the big Hocus Pocus 2 day?
No, I'm putting Hocus Pocus 2 aside because there's a bigger title coming out this week. We got, finally, Rob Zombie's The Munsters, and that's all I'm focusing on this week. No, seriously, I'm excited for Hocus Pocus 2. I'm actually going to not a drive-in, but a place where you could set up camp chairs and you watch a movie on a big inflatable screen. It's like a local thing that they're doing. So I'm going to do that for Hocus Pocus, be out in the fall, cool weather, which is refreshing after a week in hellish Florida, and really looking forward to it. What about you? Doing anything special for the big Hocus Pocus 2 release?
Yeah, I think so. Well, Salem is doing like a massive event, D23, which apparently is like a special Disney club. They're doing like a huge Hocus Pocus 2 event in town this weekend where they're doing like a party and a special event. You got to be like a D23 member or whatever. So you have to pay like the subscription fee for that. Plus, on top of that, you have to pay $250 a ticket just to go to this thing that only includes like a party, like a little Halloween party and a screening of the movie that everyone will be able to watch for free anyway. But that's why I'm saying come to our Armory Cats event, ladies and gentlemen, because it won't cost you a dime besides of course paying for his autograph, but it won't cost you much just to, go up and meet him and whatnot. So come to that Armory Cats event, October 22nd. But yeah, Sam and I are just planning to, make some spooky drinks and turn on all our Halloween lights and just watch it in the comfort of our own home. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen, Todd is here looking sexy as ever. Todd, we were just discussing Hocus Pocus 2 release day today, of course. So you and the family plan anything special for that?
That's today, right?
Yeah, releases today.
Oh, shoot. No, I mean, obviously we have to watch it because we're doing a doubleheader review, right? For that and the Munsters. No, maybe watch it tomorrow. I don't know, sit down with a normal meal and just check it out. I'm not really too thrilled about it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a miss, but we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it'll be definitely tough to capture that same, I feel, lightning twice in the bottle. But I hope at least it's fun and has that same sort of Halloween aesthetic that the first movie did. But it'll be tough. And there you go. Todd just gave it away. Next week, we are doing a doubleheader, Hocus Pocus 2 and the Munsters. So that is going to be a very fun week to open October too. So it'll be our first reviews of October, and spooky season is officially here. And also, Steve, movie club as well, right?
That's right.
This week
we got movie club on the day this episode releases. Totally forget the name of the movie we're watching. Joe, what is it? You picked it.
I did pick it. It's called Mass Hysteria. It's a little indie film, only 66 minutes long. So it's a nice short watch. I don't know even where you can watch it, Steve. You probably know better than me.
Tubi. Where else?
On Tubi.
Tubi. Okay, of course. Yeah. Free on Tubi. Yeah. I just picked it because it was filmed all in Salem, Massachusetts, and it's like a Halloween type movie. So figured it was kind of a good choice. I haven't seen it yet, so if it sucked, I'm sorry.
I watched the majority of it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
It's definitely not great, but yeah, I apologize for being late. And then I ran into technical difficulties, so that all, double trouble. But next week's episode could be a potential huge stinker if both those movies suck, especially the Munsters. So.
Well, to make sure that it isn't a stinker, we're going to have a very nice surprise planned for the end of the episode. So I think it's going to be really cool. So at least, even if the reviews suck, we got something brewing to pad the episode and make it special in its own way.
That's right. Yeah, very cool. And a lot of people have actually already seen the Munsters, because if you didn't hear, it actually leaked early online last week. It made it to all the pirate sites, so I know a lot of people have already seen it. And the early word is it lives up to the hype, ladies and gentlemen. It's about as bad as we expected, so we'll see though.
I don't know. Like, it's hard to trust stuff though, like because Lord of the Rings got review bombed, and I'm sure this is going to get review bombed, even if you kind of like it. So I personally don't think it's going to be good just based on that trailer, but we'll see. Lords of Salem took me like 10 years to warm up to, so.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm going in with like a pretty open mind. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting much, but maybe it'll surprise us.
See, that's the thing with me. My bar is so low that, I mean, it could only surprise me at this point, so I'm looking forward to it. Like, it's going to be a really fun episode. Both these movies have been in our news segments for a long
2
time.
years.
Yeah. So it's nice that they're both coming out. Now we have to pack them in together because there are just too many things that we need to review over spooky season. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But let's talk about this episode. We're talking so much about next episode.
I want to make a prediction real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Does Sherry Moon share her butt on this movie? Yeah or nay?
No.
She does in every other movie.
Show it? No, I don't think so. Not for
No?
Lily. No, and this movie's rated PG. So
that's right.
I'm gonna say definitely not. But I also find it funny the NECA figures. I don't know if you've seen them. They're doing Rob Zombie NECA figures, and everyone says that the Sherry Moon figure looks like Michael Jackson, and it really does. It's hilarious.
Well, speaking of Hocus Pocus, like you said, Joe, we have our event coming up very soon, October 22nd, at Silver Moon Comics, 1 to 5, and followed by a screening, which is unfortunately sold out. But you could still meet Omri at at Silver Moon, and it's completely free other than the autograph / photo op price. Really looking forward to all that stuff, and there's still time for you to go to the crypt and order their Hocus Pocus inspired menu. It looks awesome. Honestly, I can't wait to try those Cheeto encrusted chicken wings. I think they're the Mary Sandersons, if I recall. So get in on that. And then there's our other event. That's October 15th. Is that the date, Joe?
Yep. October 15th, we will be having our good friend Damien Maffei will be returning to Silver Moon Comics as well. Same time as the Omri event, 1 to 5, not same day. Not to be sorry if that was confusing. But yeah, October 15th from 1 to 5, Silver Moon Comics. Come see Damien as well. So hopefully you can make one of the two events. They should both be a lot of fun. There will not be a screening for the Damien event, but stay tuned because I'm hoping we're going to do a screening for Dark Circles when it comes out, which is my big film debut, of course, where I play a background actor. But I'm hoping to work with Damien about doing a screening possibly in Salem for that, which would be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. But yeah, if you can't make the Omri event, definitely come meet Damien. He's such an awesome guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't believe us, take it from Omri's words himself. So Omri, with a little special message, take it away.
It's me, Omri Katz, aka Max from Hocus Pocus. Just here to let you know I'm going to be in Salem, Massachusetts on October 22nd at the Silver Moon Comic Store starting at 1 p.m. I'm going to be signing some autographs and meeting fans and whatnot. And then after that, there's going to be a special screening and a Q&A hosted by the Horror Squad podcast at Cinema Salem. So I really look forward to seeing you guys there, and don't miss it.
All right, so you guys want to questions?
Yup.
All right, let's do it. You can ask us those questions on social media at the Horror Squad Podcast. That's on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Or you could join our Discord where you could be in the movie club and hang out with a bunch of wonderful horror fans. And it's a ton of fun. And you can ask us those questions right there. It's actually the easiest for me to find. So I appreciate those who sent there, but anywhere works for us. The first series of questions are from Chuck. So Chuck, what is your first question?
What's up, Horror Squad? Chuck here with a few questions. First question, since I haven't seen Barbarian, we're going to go kind of off the script, which, I mean, that's kind of what I normally do. But first question is, who was your first horror movie crush? For me, it was Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. Who's yours?
Ooh, very nice.
It's a great one. Whew, man. Great question. I would probably say maybe Linnea Quigley in Night of the Demons. That was definitely a very young aged movie I watched, so I'll go with that.
That was your first horror movie, Lust, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
I
Both.
thought you would have picked Nurse from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah, I think I saw though. So I saw the original Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't think I saw part 3 until after. Like I had seen Night of the Demons. Like we had that VHS like in my house, so I definitely saw Night of the Demons before I saw part 3.
Let's see, man. I had a huge thing for Nev Campbell from Scream. Trying to look at some tapes here. Shoot, every movie's got like a beautiful woman in it, so it's hard to pick. Nev Campbell's a good one. Linnea, of course. I mean, God.
Jennifer Hewitt was a big one too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think every 90s young man to this day. That was like this generation's Emma Roberts, like everyone's in love with her. Like everyone loved Jennifer Love Hewitt. Wait, is that Emma? Is that the girl from Harry Potter that everyone loves? What's her name?
No, Emma Roberts is Emma Watson.
Watson, there you go,
for me, I actually went age appropriate at the time, and that's Christina Ricci in Addams Family. So she's exactly my age, and we're only, I think, a couple months apart. And yeah, I totally fell for Wednesday at the time. I just, I was like, man, why aren't a girl like that in my school? She's so awesome. So that was probably my first crush. Like Lust, it'd probably be Linnea Quigley because of Return of the Living Dead, but crush, I'd say, Christina Ricci in Addams Family. Chuck, what is your second question?
Second question. What's a smell that you know smells terrible, but you absolutely love it, and you can't even understand why? Like you smell it and you're like, oh, that's gross, but I kind of like it. For me, it's skunk.
Skunk. That's funny. Oh, by the way, I've totally Jennifer Tilly. Come on.
Oh yeah.
One of my first ones. Yeah.
Definitely.
Bad smells that you like because you're a freak. Farts, dude. Everyone likes a good strong fart.
It's true. I got a gross. I have a gross story, but I'm not even gonna say it.
Did it involve sharting?
No, it just involves farts. Like smell of farts, but I don't. We can go without that for this. No one wants to hear about that. I don't know. Skunk's actually like not a bad one, but it has to be like skunk, like not fresh skunk, because man, that skunk, that's the worst smell. But like skunk that like sprayed like 20-30 minutes ago, yeah, it's not so bad.
I'm not going as extreme as you guys. I like the smell of like water that's been sitting there a long time, like stagnant water.
Stagnant water, little crusties and shit floating around.
Yeah, I don't like to look at it. I don't like to touch it, but that's kind of what Disney attractions smell like. Like if you go to like the Pirates of the Caribbean, or if you go to Splash Mountain, and a bunch of rides like that. I like that smell, even though it's not the best smell. It like reminds me of vacation, So I think that's why I like that particular bad smell.
All right, I have one that I actually legit like. It's cow manure, and it sounds weird, but I grew up around cow pastures when I was a kid. So like the whole town, like where I grew up, was like dairy farm, so nonstop dairy farm. So like I don't know, just like a cow pasture.
Todd, that just reminded me, actually. I feel like this would be a good conversation to have on the podcast, but you went to a couple of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake filming locations, right?
I did. Actually went to one remake and one original location. I was down in Austin where majority of those movies were filmed. It wasn't just like part 1. It was 2, 3, Next Generation, and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go hit it up again. But I went to the site where the original house stood in the climax of the film when Sally's running away. She's running down the road and fucking douchebags cutting her up, and then the truck driver comes. So I went to that spot, but man, I'm like 2 weeks late because there were trucks and bulldozers, and it was like this last patch of like, it's like a hill, and it was called Old Country Road, a little dirt road or whatever, and then a hill, and it was like the last part in that little area that everything else was like shopping center, apartments, things like that. So it was gated off. It had bulldozers. They had a construction, everything. I'm like, man, fucking sucks. So I snuck in. I got a coffee cup and I filled it up with dirt and rocks. I know it sounds lame, but I'm like, I got to have some kind of memento. So I was like, I was super upset, man. Like I was so bummed out because I like had all these visions of me walking up the road and taking pictures and stuff like that. And then, lots changed since 74. It doesn't even look like you if that's all you know about Texas is from TCM, like them driving in, you'll be like severely disappointed because there's fields, of course, but in that area it's just all like built up. But what I was really happy to see was that mill that they stop in from the remake where they have the dead body and they wait for the sheriff to come. That's like 100% intact. Like they have tractor trailers, old cars, the mill's still standing in perfect condition. There's a little bit of graffiti, like kids do, whatever, a couple broken bottles, but like 100% like they shot it like the day before. It was super cool. Took a ton of photos. You can actually get into the thing, but you would need help because like they attempted to chain it off and stuff, but people have bent over sheet metal. But if you crawl in by yourself, you're gonna cut your ass up. So if you like go with a friend wherever they hold it, you crawl in, and they shot the interior there as well. So looked at where Jedediah lived, where they were like getting beat up in the parking lot by the sheriff. It was super cool, man. I love that. So if you guys come down for Texas Fright Man, we're definitely checking that out.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to go check it out. I'm going out to Texas early just to check it out. So it should be a fun time.
Yeah, we got Cemetery from the original. We got the gas station. We got the actual Texas Chainsaw House. It's now a barbecue joint that's still standing. They just moved it like 30 miles away. So it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, can't wait. And Chuck, what is your final question?
Next question. What culture do you think has the best food? Mexican, Asian cultures, pick an Asian culture, Italian, American, what region of the world do you think has the best cuisine? Thanks, guys. Look forward to the episode.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I'm going to go Italian since,
Spicy Italian.
I'm Italian. Yeah, but I think most people would tend to agree. But I would also say, I love Mexican food. So that would be a very, very close second.
It's hard. I'm Italian as well. So I grew up, homemade pizza and all that crap. I don't know. I love a good Chinese. I love a good pizza or meatball sub or chicken parmesan. I love American, traditional American food. Man, as Mexican's fucking great. That is too hard to answer.
Yeah, and I'm Asian. That's probably my favorite type of food. More specifically, I guess Japanese out of all of them. American may be my second. I really like just steak. I like steak and potatoes. I know it's basic, but if it's good, like it's real good. Like when I went to South Carolina, they had great fried chicken and potatoes and steaks and everything like that. So I'm really looking forward to Texas for that reason, just to have.
Was your steak good at Hard 8, Joe? Because I'm thinking Steve might want a steak from Hard 8.
It was okay, but I wanted it to be better. It wasn't as good. I would just stick to the straight barbecue if you go there.
Oh man, I just had Hard 8 like 2 weeks ago, so pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah,
ironically, I can't wait to go back.
Oh yeah.
Ironically, the best steak I've ever had was in the U.S., but at a Canadian restaurant. It's at the Canadian restaurant at Epcot at Disney. They had the absolute best steak, which is weird that I went to the U.S. to get a Canadian restaurant to give me the best steak. But let's see.
That's 100% USDA meat, though, Steve. All right.
So looking forward to Texas. That's always been on my bucket list for food, anyway. So, all right. So thank you, Chuck, for those questions. Next question comes to us from Cody. Odd Job versus 007. This movie kept me guessing where it was going and combined two different genres that I didn't think would work. What two genres would you like to see mixed together?
I'm curious what two genres he's referring to here. Like, would
I saw
it be?
That too. I was wondering when I saw that. It would. I guess we can discuss it later, but
yeah,
slasher, monster.
I think he means home invasion slash.
And home invasion slasher.
Slash, yeah. Or
I would
creature.
say almost creature feature for this.
Yeah.
One.
Creature feature is a good one. Yeah.
I don't know. They've done a lot. I was trying to think like War, Ghost. They do that quite a bit, and I was thinking, oh, werewolf war movie, but no, they do that too. Dog soldiers, all that. But I would always look. We need more werewolves.
Yeah. Have you seen The Cursed yet from this year? It was pretty good.
No, I haven't.
Not bad. I
No?
think you'll
Okay,
like it.
let me put it to my watch
Yeah.
list.
I mean, it's a period piece, but it's still pretty good. I don't think it'll make my top 10, but I think I gave it like 3.5 on Letterboxd. It was solid, man. But it was a really interesting take on the werewolf genre. Very different. I've mentioned this a few times, but I would love to see a found footage slasher movie because we really haven't seen that, I don't think, yet. So I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can think of
was
anyway.
that Australian one found footage?
Which one?
From a while back with the Australian guy in the outback and he kidnaps your kid.
Oh, what
Was
the
it?
fuck?
I don't remember if it
can.
was.
It wasn't found footage, but why can I never think of what that movie's called? There's like 7 of them, isn't there?
Is there? I finally.
Or like
I know
there's
I've
a
seen
bunch
1
of
and
them.
2.
Yeah.
And there's a TV show too, I think.
Yeah, but
What's the freaking name of that movie?
Yeah, I'm also trying to. They did an autograph signing recently with the guy who plays the killer.
Yeah.
Australian slasher.
Is his name Mick or something?
It
too?
is. I believe it is.
Well, we gotta figure this out.
Wolf Creek.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think it is found footage now that I see these stills.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, they had that faux documentary one, which was
Poughkeepsie tapes.
no, for
Leslie Vernon.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, not Leslie Vernon. What's his name? Is it Leslie Vernon?
I mean, that's the rise of Behind the Mask. Yeah,
They were gonna be terrible on trivia tonight.
Yeah. Behind the Mask, the rise of Leslie Vernon. Yeah,
Good
and then I just kind of answered my own question. Poughkeepsie tapes is definitely like a found footage slasher style movie. So
absolutely. Yeah. For me, easy one: Demon Nun with a porno. I think would be my 2.
I'm sure there's one, Steve.
I'm sure there's one.
It's gotta be.
No, seriously, I don't know. Yeah, they have so many different mashups of genres already. Like there's something for everyone out there. But I would definitely like more like ghost type stuff. Not slasher ghosts, but I don't know, just do something different with ghosts. Like I feel that they need to bring back the ghost genre and do something crazy with it.
I'm not gonna tell you what website I found this on.
I'm sure
you guys can guess.
Yeah.
Demonic C word, and it's got the nun right there. She is. Perfect. There you go.
Yeah. Wish granted.
Lovely.
Thank you, Wishmaster.
It'll cost you later.
Yeah. So we do have more questions, but they are relating directly to the movie we're reviewing. So we're going to ask them at the end of the show. So thank you, everyone who sent in some questions. We really appreciate it. All right. You guys want to do some what watched?
Absolutely. I have one. Oh, are you talking, Joe?
Me too. No, I do. I have one too.
I have 2. So
I'll go first. I got it played up right here.
All right.
This one is 1963's The Haunted Palace. This is on Amazon Prime, starring Vincent Price. And this one is, the typical like 1700s kind of thing where Vincent Price and his hot wife, they're kind of like the town pariahs. They think they're doing witchcraft and stuff. They are. So they're caught. They end up burning Vincent Price at the stake, which is actually a really cool like effect for 63. They like light him on fire and then they show a dummy burning, and it's actually really effective. And then very specific number, 110 years later, it comes up on the screen. 110 years later, I'm like, why 110? But anyway, Vincent Price's like ancestor, of course, it looks just like him because of Vincent Price. He comes back to the town to claim his inheritance, which is the haunted palace, and all the townsfolk are like, "Oh shit! Like he's gonna get that house. We don't want him here. He looks just like that motherfucker from 110 years ago," which doesn't make sense that they know that. But anyway, like something happens where the spirit of Vincent Price from 110 years ago comes to claim the body of his ancestor, and he's fighting within him. Like, long story short, he takes over his body and starts doing evil shit, and they're trying to like bring upon the end of the world or something like that. I really liked it. The sets are like phenomenal. The graveyard scenes, the haunted palace itself, underground stuff is really cool. Vincent Price is just a gem. I mean, what else can you say about him? His wife is super hot, and the townspeople have this really creepy effect because he of course he cursed the town before he died. So now people are born with kind of like burns. So like some people have like their eyes burned over with like, scar tissue and stuff like that. So it looks pretty cheap, especially in high def, but it's still a really cool effect that they went with. So Haunted Palace over on Prime from 1963.
My first one this week is a movie I watched over on Shudder from 2022, and it's called Saloum. So this movie is French, but it comes from Senegal in Africa. It's about a group of mercenaries who are bringing back a cartel member and a bunch of stuff that they need to bring back to the cartel like headquarters as part of an exchange. But all of a sudden, as they're escaping their big bust, their plane goes down and they end up in a town that has a supernatural curse and kind of a weird vibe to it, and there's a lot of tension and stuff like that. And then these kind of demon ghosts start attacking, and the mercenaries have to stick together to get out of the town, defeat the ghosts, and be able to escape with their lives. This movie is an extremely effective and very good drama, but the horror leaves a lot to be desired, and that's the biggest downfall of this movie. As a drama, it works really, really well. The characters are amazing. They go through these really deep, like kind of real life issues, past abuse and racism and like child abuse and stuff like that, like really tough shit that they deal with. You can see why they became mercenaries. It has to do with how they were raised and the tough lives that they lived and how it was their only way out. They meet a deaf kind of badass woman that helps them out on their quest, and she has more issues, and it's a really, really good film if you look at the dramatic side. But all of a sudden these fucking CGI demons come into play that completely kind of really hurts the movie. Like was a 4.5 star out of 5 until the stupid CGI demons come in, which brought it down to 3.5 film. Now it's still very good. I really enjoyed it. It was the first film I've ever seen from Senegal. I'm trying to complete that map on Letterboxd, and I really appreciate for that. It's a different culture, and you really get a sense of that culture in the movie. It's just too bad that the horror part of it is what was ultimately the big issue with this one. So that's Saloum over on Shudder.
All right, my first and only one tonight. I actually went out to the theater actually the same day as Barbarian, so I did myself a little double feature. But I went and saw the premiere. Cinema Salem was doing a premiere of Out There Halloween Megatape, which if you had seen 2013's WNUF Halloween special, it is basically the follow-up to that movie. So almost 10 years later, the director finally released the quote-unquote sequel, although there's not really much, as far as following a story along. But it's almost identical to the first WNUF Halloween special, where it is made to look like a bootleg. Instead of, with WNUF, it was a bootleg like 1980s news special. This one is a 1990s bootleg tape of a couple different recordings. The first one is a sort of, think of like the Ricky Lake show. So it's set like that on Halloween. And, the audience is all in Halloween costumes. The talk show host is in the Halloween costume. And she just like interviews different people, like one girl who was having a sexual affair with a ghost and has to reveal it to her husband and stuff like that. So that segment was like extremely fun and I loved it. And the commercials were amazing through that. And then we hit so then that ends. That lasts probably about 30 to 40 minutes. And then we get the second part of the movie, which takes us to a sci-fi television special called Out There. And that's where the movie lost me a bit, unfortunately. So Out There, if you ever, I know Todd, I think, listened to that, has mentioned this before, like that radio broadcast show where like the guy would talk about
Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah, Coast to Coast AM. Yeah. It's very similar to that, where it is a 1 hour, think of kind of like, it's something like Fox would have did. Like if anyone remembers like Alien Autopsy back in the day, that like that special TV special they did on Fox. So it was sort of like that, but they're, investigating this secret sort of Area 51 type facility. And, it was like, okay, but the problem was like it lost the Halloween aspect that the first part of the movie did. And that's why I liked WNUF, the original WNUF, WNUF a lot better because like that one, they focused on, like ghost hunters at like a potential haunted house, whereas this one just kind of delves straight into, straight sci-fi, and it just goes on way too long. It takes up about an hour of the movie because the movie runs at about hour 40, hour 45 minutes, and I just wish they broke it up into 3 different segments, kind of like a anthology, because it just overstays its welcome, and the novelty, like even with the commercials, like wear off after a while. So overall, like it was a decent one-time watch. I would definitely recommend the WNUF Halloween special over this one, but I gave it a 3 out of 5 over on Letterboxd. So worth maybe a one-time watch.
All right, my last one this week is another movie on Shudder, also in 2022. And it's called Speak No Evil. So this one is, you have a couple, they're from Denmark, and they go to vacation in Italy, where they meet another couple who are Dutch, so from Holland, and they strike up a friendship on their vacation. They have a good time, and then the movie leaves it at that. A couple months later, or a few weeks later, we're not sure, they get a postcard from the family in Holland saying, "We really enjoyed, meeting you in Italy. We had a great time. Why don't you come up for a weekend at our house in Holland? We'll show you around and everything like that." So the couple, they're kind of like, yeah, why not? They're kind of hesitant a little bit because they don't really know them, but their lives are a little boring. They're having a dinner party and they realize that they need a little adventure. So they bring their daughter to this house with the other couple in Holland, and then the movie takes a fucking turn, and you might as well call this Uncomfortable the movie, because it's an hour and 15 minutes. Like the movie's like an hour 35, but the first 15 are all based on the good stuff that happens on vacation. But then it's pure suspense and uncomfortableness and situations where you're like, ooh, what would I do in this situation? You're also frustrated as a viewer because the way that the characters react to things is not how you would probably react to those things, or maybe it would be, and I don't know. But this is a dark fucking film. There is not a lot of joy to be had in this film, and it's got a very A24 feeling. It shows like big landscapes, and it's got that foreboding music throughout the whole thing. The fact that it's like part in Danish, part in Dutch, but mostly in English, because so one family is Danish, one's Dutch, but they communicate in English together. So the majority of the film, they speak English, and it just, as you uncover what's going on, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And the twists and turns in this movie are constant. Every time you think it's going to go one way, it goes completely another way. And honestly, this is one of my favorite films I've watched this year. The only thing that brings it down is the end leaves a little bit to be desired, mostly because I don't understand the motivation and I don't understand why the characters did what they did. And it's also like there's no joy to be had in this movie at all. But other than that, this is an experience of a film, and I do highly recommend it. But trigger warning, it's fucked up. It's psychologically fucked up, and not so much visually fucked up, but psychologically fucked up. So that's Speak No Evil over on Shudder.
What'd you give it on Letterboxd?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Kid stuff fucked up.
There's kid stuff that's fucked up. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it.
Well, if it's gonna make your list, I gotta watch it. So
yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Sure.
Yeah. Right now it's like number 6 or 5 or something, but might not make.
Well, the year's almost over, so.
Yeah, but there's big hitters at the end of the year, so I'm hoping. But
monsters.
I think. I do think Joe should watch it for sure. That's you. I'm
Definitely.
Not sure, but because of the kid stuff.
That review just sold me for sure. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Smile of all things.
I'm seeing it
Might
Friday.
be a sleeper. Yeah, I saw that. Might be a sleeper hit.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of that one where they're Would You Rather, or was it? What was the one?
Truth or Dare?
Truth or Dare. There.
It does remind me of Truth or Dare. That's.
Yeah, that one was all right. But this one, yeah, I was telling Steve, we were talking about this before you came on. Well, we were talking about the marketing campaign for it, which is amazing.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, and then we were talking about shit. Now I forget what I was gonna say. What else were we talking about, Steve? Do you remember?
Mostly the marketing campaign and how brilliant it was. And
Are they
like
really
that.
doing that in like live?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
like
they're
real
getting
baseball
primo
games.
seats at like baseball
That's
games
fucking
and
insane.
in events, and they pay obviously the camera to focus on them a couple times.
Yeah.
It's a great marketing ploy, because
But
people ask, "What the fuck is this?" And
Yeah, do the baseball announcers, are they like in on it?
probably
You
not.
know?
Like, I don't think
Are they saying like, what the fuck?
maybe because they're just reacting to what's on screen, right?
Right.
And
It's crazy, dude. That's
it's
really
great.
cool.
Yeah, I love when people do like different marketing things like that. It's just better, especially when you're a low budget, well, not super low budget, but a low budget horror film. It's
When was the last time anybody did anything like that?
the last time I remember it was the Dark Knight. They've had Joker cards everywhere that would put people on a hunt, but that's a big budget movie. It's
Yeah.
I don't know about. Cool. I mean, obviously they all have, like, there's that one that said that it was a movie that they found in some place, or it's the scariest movie ever, or it's a cursed movie. You've seen a lot of that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Or remember in video games, there was a game, I think it was Mass Effect, where they threw out advanced copies of the games from like a spaceship. Well, not a spaceship, but like a really, really high plane, and they just parachuted down in the US and people had to find them, and they got like advanced copies.
That's cool.
And then someone died trying to climb a tree to retrieve one of those games and stuff. So yeah, hit and miss those campaigns, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, I remember one of the really good ones was The Ring, where they were just putting the tape, like, Samar's tape on like people's cars and stuff like that, and it was just like a blank VHS, and that's how they were doing the marketing campaign for that, which is pretty dang cool.
Very cool. All right, trivia.
Okay, I gave Joe a point last time because my math is terrible and he actually earned one. So the points for this quarter are Steve and I tied at 15 apiece with Joe and 13. So who's gonna take it tonight, I wonder?
Yeah, and by the way, this is it for the quarter.
It's all for all the marbles here.
Yeah. So I want to go first this week because I'm bringing back a question I asked like maybe a few years ago. It's a totally different category that we've done, and I'm bringing 3 questions from it. Kayla did send me some questions. I'm going to use them next week. So the 3 questions I'm going to ask this week, I took a horror movie's title. I went to see what the French translation of that title is, and then I retranslated it back into English because it pops out a different title, if you like use it word for word. So you have to guess what movie it is based off the new English translation. So English title to French, back to English, changes the title of the movie.
Okay.
So for example, I'll give you a non-horror example. Home Alone in French is Maman, j'ai raté l'avion, which translates to Mom, I missed the airplane. So
I like it.
Yeah, so it's
Mom,
a weird
airplane.
Exactly. So that's why.
All right, that's difficult.
Yeah, but you would know what that was. Mom, I miss the airplane would give you an idea.
Yeah, Con Air. I would have said Con Air, but
really?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Down the bonnet.
All right. So the first one is Inside the Black.
Can you say it in French, please?
I can.
Le Black.
Thank you.
Dans le noir.
Okay. Inside the Black. I mean, Pitch Black? That'd be my first guess.
The movie. Inside the Black. I feel like black has something to do with it. Pitch Black's a good guess.
Any guesses?
You can try to guess again, Joe, if you got any. I'm drawing a blank. Inside the Black. Is it?
I'll give you guys a hint.
Okay.
It's in the 2010s.
Ooh.
2010s. No idea.
Joe, any guess?
Blair Witch.
Wrong.
1999.
No, the remake.
The remake.
Oh yeah.
So the answer was Lights Out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Makes
I can
sense.
see that.
Yeah.
Inside the Black. Why is that though, Joe? I mean, Steve, that they wouldn't just call it Lights Out in French?
Because Lights Out is an expression that it doesn't translate well into French.
Okay. Like turning off the lights.
Yeah, it just that's what they do usually. If it's not an expression that French people use, they'll use like a different similar sounding title.
Okay.
And when you translate it back to English, it just spits out something completely different.
All right. I got 'em. All from Kayla tonight. Thank you, Miss Kayla.
Kayla.
Match the plot to the movie.
Ooh.
All right. Pete is an American journalist who writes about travel hotspots. His next assignment takes him on a small tourist boat ride through a river in the Australian outback. The tour guide, Kate, tells the tourists about the crocodile-infested waters below them. When their boat becomes stranded trying to help someone, things take a turn for the worse.
Is it Croc?
Incorrect.
I mean, I know this movie, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the title.
I'm not placing it.
Let's see. The dude, one of the characters was the main character in the movie Avatar.
Okay.
Sam
Worthington. I think.
Somewhere, yeah.
Worthington. No.
I
It's
don't.
from 2007. You guys are on the right track. You just can't
I
think of the title.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got
No,
nothing.
let's go Saltwater.
Saltwater. Incorrect. The answer is Rogue.
Bro.
Yeah, that's
I can
right.
picture the poster in my head.
Yeah.
Same. No.
I like Rogue.
All right.
A good one.
Well, my questions are all from Kayla tonight as well. So thank you, Kayla.
Nice.
All right. So here's a good one. Pretty obscure for me, anyway. I didn't know this answer. In Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Camp Crystal Lake has been renamed what?
I don't have a clue.
It's Camp
You're on the right track. It is camp.
Camp Arawak.
Camp Wadakaki or something like that.
Incorrect.
Wachakaki.
I did not know this, and I don't remember it. Camp Forest Green.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, way off.
Mhm.
I thought they stuck with like the Native American theme. Guess not.
All right. So this title in French is Le Spectre Maléfique, which translated in English, The Evil Spectre.
Evil Spectre? Is it Phantasm?
Nope.
Fuck.
Evil Spectre.
The Evil Sphincter.
Evil Spectre. The Exorcist.
Wrong. I'll give you one more guess. I'm not going to give you the
Okay.
decade again because I don't want to do the same thing twice. We reviewed this movie, so you get one more guess each
We reviewed this movie.
on the pod. Yeah,
That
and I'm sure this time not something I thought we reviewed. That we
Which one was that we were thinking about? Stigmata?
Stigmata. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Evil Spectre.
The Evil Spectre, we reviewed it. What the fuck? Lady in White.
Wrong.
That's
Good
what,
guess,
that was a
though.
good guess. I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking that too.
Just join Shudder for those interested to watch it.
Just join Shudder.
They did.
No,
Yeah.
that's Lady in White.
Lady in
Oh.
White did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Evil,
Evil
Spectre.
huh?
Spectre's
Shit.
ghost.
It is.
And it's the evil ghost.
The evil ghost.
uh,
Yikes.
I got another
We're
one if Joe doesn't have any.
You called it about us not doing well in trivia tonight.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I got
All right,
nothing.
do you want one last guess?
Is it the Changeling?
Wrong.
Damn.
So the answer is Candyman.
That's the
Oh,
title for it?
Yep.
That's
interesting.
strange.
That is strange.
Huh.
He's kind of a ghost.
It's like calling Halloween like
Yeah, no, he is. He is a ghost.
well, that's true.
good.
Evil Spectre. Okay. I'm using this one, Kayla, after all. Even though I think we've asked it before, but we'll see. What is the subtitle for the sequel to 2001 Maniacs?
Oh. To the sequel?
Yes. There's a
More
sequel that-
Maniacs.
This is 2000.
I didn't even know they had a sequel.
They did. I never seen
Isn't
it.
Robert Englund in it?
The first
Probably.
one.
Or is that the remake?
He's in. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a remake, but yeah, he's from the original
2001,
one slash remake.
I got nothing.
Really? It's
I definitely haven't seen it.
Field of Screams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Field of Screams. Yep.
Didn't even know there was
And we
one,
fucking
so.
suck tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Zero
Suck, we
zeros.
suck bad tonight.
Goose eggs.
All right. Well, maybe this will help.
All right.
Is it my turn? Right? I think.
Yes.
All right. We've definitely had this question before because I remember it, but it's been a while. What was the original title for Hocus Pocus? Maybe I should have saved this for next week.
The
but
Witches?
I'm not. Incorrect.
The Black Candle.
No. Good guess though.
Good guess.
Actually, the working title for Hocus Pocus 2 was Black Flame
Yeah.
Candle.
Well, then I get the point.
But no, the correct answer is Halloween House. Was
Oh.
actually the original title.
Interesting.
I
Yes.
can dig it. I can dig it.
Mhm.
That would have been
And
a
it
good
was supposed to
question
be
for next week.
and of course it was supposed to be more horror than comedy based on Mick Garris's original screenplay.
I don't know where you get the Halloween house from that movie, though. I mean, their house, but it's not like a main thing.
I mean, it takes place on Halloween night, and they go to like the house, and that's where he
Yeah.
lights the black flame candle. So, I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but Hocus Pocus is better.
Yeah, it's more kitty.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Frenchman.
All right, last one.
French Canadian.
La vengeance des fantômes.
We.
The vengeance of the ghosts.
The Vengeance of the Ghost.
Oh gosh.
I will say
Vengeance.
The Fog.
Wrong.
Ooh, good guess.
Good guess though. The fog was one of them that I checked, but it was just the fog. So in French too.
Le Fog. The Vengeance of the Ghosts.
Could be anything.
Yeah, angry ghosts.
Ooh, I have another guess.
Guess it.
13 Ghosts.
Wrong. Good
Good
guess
guess,
though. That's a
too.
very good guess.
The Others. That's
No.
Les Others.
Yeah. Yeah. The others in French was also like les autres, so the others.
This is a very fun game, but we're striking
our
out.
brains aren't
We're
working tonight properly.
you're like all on the right track. You know, it's just not
Yeah.
the correct one. So I'll give you what, guys, another different hint. Just
Okay.
one last guess each. It's a movie that has sequels. So it's a bit of a franchise.
Oh,
Oh, I have a guess.
Okay, you,
go
you-
for it. What I'm
yeah,
trying to
you each
formulate.
get one guess.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that was my guess too.
It's not.
No, okay, that wasn't my guess. I give a guess.
Yeah. All right, Todd. Last guess.
I don't know. Poltergeist.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
guess. There you go. Nice.
That's such a long title for such a. Okay, what does Poltergeist mean in French then?
It's just there's no
There's no equivalent.
there's no equivalent. So it's ghosts, angry ghosts. Yeah.
Interesting.
There we go. All right. We broke
See,
through.
it's both a new type of question and educational.
Yes.
It's a French class.
Yep.
All right. Kristen Stewart rose to stardom
Oh.
thanks to Twilight.
Mm.
But which horror film did she star in just a year earlier?
Ooh.
Which I did not know.
I did not know she was in a horror film earlier.
Oh, The Messengers.
Correct.
Saw it in
not know.
theaters. Yeah.
Oh yeah, any good?
Yeah. Man, I haven't seen it since theaters. I remember thinking it wasn't great though. at the
Ghosts, I
time.
imagine.
Yeah, it's like I remember it takes place on like a farm.
Hmm.
That's really all I remember. I feel like there's a scarecrow in it at some point too, but that's really all I remember.
Didn't Jennifer Lawrence do a horror movie before she became huge?
Sounds
House on the
possible.
end of the block or
Oh yeah, Sam
the
loves
street
that
or something like
movie.
that?
No, is that Jennifer Lawrence? Though?
House on the edge of the.
Sam was here. She shut the door. She's in her other
She
office. I'd
said,
ask her,
"Leave
but-
me alone."
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to look it up. I can't leave J Lo or J Lo, not J Lo.
Yeah, but I think you're right. She definitely was in some sort of movie like that.
Hold on. House on the end of the street.
Yes. Yeah, I
Never
think
seen
Sam
it.
likes that one. I think it's a remake too, if I'm not mistaken. All right,
Right.
my turn.
Yep.
All right. Closest wins.
Oh,
Okay.
I feel like we had this one too, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So
How many pages?
Oh.
How many pages are in Stephen King's novel It?
Let's go with 900.
900. Okay.
I'm gonna go. It's a big fucking novel.
It was big.
That's probably pretty fucking close. But I want to give a little. I don't want to be a dick with it. You know?
901.
901.
Yeah,
yes,
fucker.
that's right.
I hate those people.
I'll go 800.
Todd takes it down.
Ugh.
The correct
Boom.
answer: 1,138 pages.
I was gonna go
Oh,
1,000. That would have been closer. Cool.
Good.
Not as long as booked. Oh, pulled away with it. 17 to Steve's 15 to Joe's 14.
Nice.
Punishments will be swift
Ooh.
and severe once I figure
Next
it out.
week.
Well, we
Yeah,
got a lot
I-
to watch.
I think the
I'll let you guys
monsters
sit
is
for a
enough
while.
punishment.
You
All
guys
right,
are
next
watching
week.
Hocus Pocus Part 2.
Tickles the Clown sequel out there.
Tickles the
maybe?
Clown, but in
But
like half speed.
there's 4 of them. Remember?
Well, you
That's
watched
right,
them
yeah.
already, psychopath.
I only watched 2 of them. I only watched Trump versus the Illuminati and
There's also his other. There's also his other movie, Noah's Shark, which I've heard good things about.
Gosh, that's stupid. 2, 1, 0. Overall score 0. Myself 53, Joe 48, Steve at 42. Cool. I had to look through the fucking cellar of Tubi.
You gotta make sure it's available in Canada too.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, watch this movie.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let me pull her up real quick.
Has this lead actress been in anything else? I liked her.
I looked
but
her up. I didn't
recognize
see anything
her.
else.
She was in an episode of Black Mirror.
Ah, okay.
I recognize her. I just don't remember which segment it was in.
Yeah.
All right, Barbarian 2022, currently in theaters. So like always with a theater watch, we are going to spoil it at some point, probably sooner than later. So if you haven't watched the movie, please don't listen to the episode unless you like being spoiled. Come back later and listen to what we have to say. Directed by Zach Kreger. Some stay for a night, some stay for a week, some never leave. In a town for a job interview, a young woman arrives at her Airbnb late at night only to find that it has been mistakenly double booked and a strange man is already staying there. Against her better judgment, she decides to stay the night anyway, but soon discovers that there is much more to be afraid of in the house than the other house guest. All right, so our main character, she's a young lady and she's going to Detroit. For those that are outside the United States, some parts of Detroit are pretty decrepit. We used to have a big auto industry there. It left some years back, which plunged the area into squalor and things like that. So there's entire neighborhoods that are just uninhabited, burned down buildings. You can buy houses for like $1,000 and stuff like that. So a lot of people do that. So when you see this movie, you see her Airbnb is the only house on the block that's habitable and nice, and that's actually accurate to the area. So she goes there, gets Airbnb, shows up late at night. She can't get in. No one's answering the phone. She knocks on the door, and then a young man, Mr. Skarsgård, who played it, he answers the door and he's a little weary. He's nice, but he's kind of like a little off-putting, right? Eventually, he talks her into staying at the Airbnb, and they'll call together and try to figure it out because he booked it on another app and it's double booked now. So eventually, he does some things that are a little bit like iffy. Is he a creeper? Is he not? You're left guessing that. Eventually, she goes to bed at night and awakens to her door being open, and she automatically blames it on him. He's like, "No, it wasn't me, blah, blah, blah." And then things start happening, and I'm just going to leave it at that because I really don't want people to get spoiled by this movie. Like, please, even if you like spoils, do not get spoiled. Go completely into that movie without watching the trailer if you can. Or don't read about it, just go watch it. And I think it's a better experience the less you know. So leave it at that. So spoiler warning, here we go. Man, this movie was a fucking ride, man. Like, I had seen the trailer and I think I saw it during the Peel movie, the last one, but I thought it was just gonna be like kind of like a slasher, I'm gonna kidnap you kind of thing. I did not expect this to happen. And overall, the experience was very positive. I was really into it. It left me guessing. It had some weird tonal shifts and like stuff like that. But I'm gonna leave it there that I heavily enjoyed it. I do have some criticisms and I do have some stuff I want to talk about, delve in deeper. But overall, my impression was positive.
Yeah, I went into this completely blind. I think the only reason we even decided to review this was because of all the positive stuff we were seeing about it on our Discord and just in the horror community in general. But yeah, I mean, Todd's right. Go in completely blind because it's the best way you can do it. I hadn't seen the trailer for this, nothing. This movie is fucking bonkers. Like it does, and it starts. I would say the strongest part of this movie might be the opening segment, and I'm gonna call them segments because there's like 3 different movies here. Like it really does feel like an anthology in places. But the part with Bill Skarsgård and this lead actress, it's so good. It's so tension filled, and you just never trust Bill Skarsgård's character. And it's just such a great kind of way to kind of throw you off the scent of what is going to happen. And then like when they do finally discover this underground room, and you quickly see something and boom, it takes you into a completely different movie and like a completely different story. You're like, and like, I remember like, it was so jarring. Like my brain was like processing like what I just saw while Justin Long is fucking driving along in this car, man. Yeah. It's put together really, really well. It's acted fantastically throughout. I mean, I can't wait to discuss this with you guys because there's so many different like layers to this movie to unpack, and I know we're all going to kind of wait to reveal kind of this big twist that comes about towards, I guess, the end of the Justin Long segment of the film. But man, I really enjoyed what I saw here, and I and it's an experience, like Todd said. It takes you on a ride, and you're either going to go along for it or you're going to jump off. And I think some people might jump off, but for me, I was along for the ride.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same for me. I knew nothing about this film at all when I went to see it. I saw the poster. I saw people talking about it, saying that it was good, and that's it. And I knew Justin Long was in it. That's really all I knew about this movie, and I think that was the best way to experience it. Unfortunately, I don't think a ton of people experienced it, judging by the 0 people in my theater, other than my wife and I, so which is nice for me, but it's kind of a shitty thing for a horror movie. The whole movie, I was just really into it. Just kept thinking, what would I do in this situation? And how would I react in the situation? A lot of it was avoidable, and I want to talk about that at some point. I think a little bit of due diligence on her part could have kept her away from the situation completely. But still, the tension of the first segment, like Joe said, I also see this as a 3-part anthology. The first part of this segment with Bill Skarsgård and that other actress was just so good. Both of them on their A game. You feel for her because women, a lot of bad stuff happens to them, and you feel like why she doesn't trust him. But then you feel for him too, like if he is a good guy, he's being judged kind of unfairly, but if he's a bad guy, it was just you didn't know where it was going. And that, because I didn't know the twist, I really had no idea kind of where this movie is taking us. And then you go into the Justin Long thing about a guy being canceled, which is very relevant to today's times. Now, I think this segment was the weakest of the 3, personally, just because even though I like Justin Long, I think I don't care about a celebrity being canceled. Like, I don't care about their plight at all. It's like, I don't give a shit. So, but it was interesting how it led into the third segment, which is basically taking the first 2 segments and mashing them together into kind of the final reveal. And that was, holy shit, just crazy. And that's the part that I can't wait to discuss with you guys. So let's get into it. I think we've beat around the bush enough. So what do you guys think of what this movie is ultimately really about?
So I told my daughter, I'm like, don't you ever go in a fucking house like that? She's like, I know, I'm not stupid. So that's like, to your point, Steve, it's like, just drive. You can go to a motel. I know it's a movie, you got to make the movie happen, but there were a lot of choices where it's like, Skarsgård, why are you going all the way into this fucking tunnel? Girl, why are you going all the way into this fucking tunnel? Guys, why are we going back in the basement again? We just got fucking locked in the basement and you didn't even prop it up and you barely caught it. It's like, it's a lot of stuff like that where it's like it could have been fleshed out or reworked a little bit to make it make more sense or more believable. I don't even think I'm getting ahead of myself. It's fucking insane, man. When the fucking all right, first of all, I think Barbarian's the wrong title for this. It should have just been called Mother. I think that would have been cooler. And you don't know, like, wait, there's no mother character in this on the post, and then this fucking tittied monster comes out of nowhere. It was fucking nuts, man. It was fucking nuts. And it was jarring. Like, you're slamming Bill's head against the wall, breaking it apart, and then it cuts to Justin Long singing. It's like, I don't know. Like, where do we begin? Like, all right, that first scene. Let's begin there. Like you guys already mentioned. Fantastic. And like Steve said, you feel for both of them because they're both like, she came into the fucking house and you can't pin it on him. Like you still came in the house, but then he's like also kind of creepy too. And like, but that's just because he's kind of socially awkward. And he's like that whole scene where he's like, I was gonna pour you some wine, and he goes on for like 3 minutes of just nonstop talking. That was like really effective. But ultimately though, like I wanted more from this movie, even though it went to weird places. I still didn't think it turned the corner for me. Like I wanted more baby shit. Like I wanted more stuff like that. And I think like it was kind of the end of it where the mom character is going after the main girl would have made more sense if we had more interactions on screen with the mom and the main girl, like babying her more. And I think a really cool scene would have been Skarsgård being alive but brain damaged, from getting his head smashed in and like literally being a baby and taking care of him. I think that would have been such a cool, scary segment. Like imagine Justin Long, that whole scene where she's trying to force breastfeed him, which is insane to say. But imagine seeing Skarsgård in a little fucking like a onesie or something in the corner shitting himself because he's fucked up. Like I think that would have been like they went there, but not like they never turned completely into like crazy territory. But I'll stop there. Let you guys go.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack here. Skarsgård is such a good actor, and to kill him off so early was kind of a bummer because like I feel like he's so strong. But Justin Long's great too, and I agree with you. It would have been great. That would have been very effective if we saw Skarsgård kind of fucked up and she was kind of taking care of him. And I don't know when to like get into this part too, because like this movie is also obviously sort of like a social commentary as well, like about kind of like the female perspective and what, you know, women kind of go through. And, you know, and I thought that was really interesting too. And, you know, there's this, you know, a whole thing about Justin Long's character, and it's very layered with him about, you know, at times you're like, you know, maybe, you know, did he do it? Did he not do it? But then obviously we find out, you know, I mean, he's really a piece of shit character here. I thought, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. There's just like so much to unpack here. I really don't know where to start. But it's the Barbarian character. Like at the end of the day, she's a victim. Like, and it's sad, you know. And you do feel for her by the end of the movie, but we don't get there, of course, until the end. So you're sitting there terrified of her this entire movie. And then I guess let's get into. I want to talk about Richard Brake's part of this movie too, which is the third part of this movie if we're going into our anthology, which we haven't mentioned yet. So basically the third part of this movie introduces us to Richard Brake's character, and Richard Brake, of course, you know him from most Rob Zombie movies, and he'll also be in the Monsters for next week, so you know, staying on theme. But basically what we come to find out is that, you know, Richard Brake lived in this house originally back in, I don't know what the time period, 70s, maybe 60s, 70s, something like that. Yeah. And he was a terrible person. He was essentially a serial killer that was kidnapping women in his area. And he's the one that created this whole underground layer that we have discovered. And from there, we come to find out that this barbarian that is living down there is essentially a product of years of rape and incest done by this Richard Brake character. He was basically bringing these women down, you know, raping them, killing them. Some of them would have children. Then he would rape and kill the other, you know, the products of those people, and just, you know, down the line of incest. And what he created was this barbarian character. I mean, extremely disturbing, extremely sad. And I'll leave it at that and let you guys hear your thoughts on that part of it.
Yeah, it was fucked up, for sure. Now, I thought there would be more of them down there because at one point, the main girl meets like a kind of homeless guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says that's not the worst thing down there.
Right.
Now, he probably meant Richard Brake's character in retrospect, but when he said that, my mind immediately went to, oh shit, there's more of them down there, and maybe someone even crazier than, like, at least the one that we had seen, the Barbarian, had some kind of redeeming factor that she just basically just wanted to be a mother and was protective, right? Whereas if there were more that were worse than her, that would have been interesting to see, like, how far they could have gone with that. But it's almost like that line kind of confused me because then there was really nothing else down there, and I kind of expected that the whole time.
I agree, and like I was like, oh, 100% agree. Like I thought they were gonna go. That's another part of the issues I had is like, oh, okay, now we got something else. Like what could be worse than this? I was like, your mind just spins. Like, is it a fucking monstrosity? Like a bigger monstrosity? I don't know. But then, like that scene was cool with Justin Long in that room because we know at that point that that character is evil and he's bad, right? But he ends up just shooting himself, and it's like, well, what was the purpose of that scene? I really don't understand it.
I agree. It was a weird scene. Like, why go through this whole thing just to have him shoot himself?
Right. You know, I don't know why he shot himself, but like there was also like the play on Justin Long is basically we know like he's a rapist. Like, you know, it comes out that way. Like you learn that his character really is a piece of shit by the, you know, actions he chooses to do throughout the movie. And I think that scene was sort of the play that Justin Long is seeing this stuff on camera that he is doing to these women, and he is a monster and calling him a monster, and Justin Long is really a monster himself because he's done similar things. So I think, I think that plays into a lot of the social commentary the director was trying to throw in there as well with that scene.
Right, which kind of justifies the first scene where she doesn't trust Skarsgård's character, because even though she's kind of putting herself in that scenario, which I like Todd said, I have issues with. She didn't look at Airbnb reviews. She didn't check out the neighborhood. There was a lot of red flags before even walking into that situation, but it shows why she doesn't trust this guy, because at any point he can overpower her, and God knows what happens to her. Rape, murder, torture, who knows, right? It could be anything. And women face that all the time, if they're put into some situation they didn't expect with a man they don't know. And it's scary. I can't even imagine. Like, I can't. So, I'm a man, so I can't imagine that situation. So it was very good at playing off that kind of real world issue. But going back to the Barbarian, yeah, you see that scene where there's that breastfeeding video going on, and Richard Brake's character, I thought, if you're going to put him in the movie in the present, instead of shooting himself, I think the Barbarian should have shot him. Give the Barbarian at least some kind of redemption for all the shit that he put her through. It's just such a weird choice to have him just kill himself. And then the whole homeless like ending too is kind of a weird way to end it, I thought.
Yeah, I it's funny, man. Like, if I had to bet, I would say this director read a book called Urban Gothic, which is a very similar concept to it. It's a freaking great book. But what happens is these young urban explorer kids go to like it's probably Detroit, but it's some, less fortunate area. They've heard about a house that's scary or whatever. And then these, quote unquote gangsters to them come up to the group, and they think they're threatening because they look, like quote unquote gangsters. But then they're really at the end of the day trying to save them from going to the building, which is the same thing that the homeless guy was doing. Hey, little girl, which, come on, man, you're coming on a little strong. Don't do that. But same thing. There's subterranean mutants, and they kill people and eat them, stuff like that. So it's very similar. But that whole his arc was, I don't know, kind of thrown away. Homeless fans.
Yeah. No, yeah. I felt like his character wasn't necessary, like, whatsoever, right? Like, I for a periods of time, I thought maybe he was like in on it or something like that, But yeah, I felt like he was never really necessary to the plot. Could have did without him. Actually, Todd, I was just reading on IMDb. The director did read a book. Actually, not that book, but the script started out after, based on IMDb here, the script started out after Zach Kreger, the director, read the book The Gift of Fear, which encourages women to trust their intuition when confronted by obviously dangerous men. He used it as a writing exercise and began crafting a 30-minute short that consisted entirely of a conversation in which a woman continues to ignore a mounting series of red flags. He liked it well enough that he knew he had the makings of a longer film, and eventually became this film.
How cool would it have been, though, if it was like Skarsgård wasn't the victim or wasn't the bad guy and she was potentially? Like, that would have been a cool flip if they flipped that, even though that's not the direction they went clearly. But what about the cop stuff? I think the cops should have just been left out completely. They should have like altered the plot where they were not needed or not being able to call, because it just ended up kind of slogging down the pace, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to show that there was going to be no help. There's no outside help that's going to come and save the situation, right? Cops don't give a shit what's happening in the rough neighborhoods of Detroit, which is another social commentary. Cops really only care about the richer, whiter folks. Unfortunately, that's kind of what society thinks of most cops. And I think that's what they were kind of show, is that because it happens in this neighborhood, she's black, and they're like, we're just not going to help you. There's no reason for us to help, but we have something more important somewhere else than whatever you're dealing with. Just because she's in that neighborhood, they assume she's like a crackhead and just kind of spouting nonsense. And I think it was just part of the social commentary, to be honest, and to show that there won't be help. She's going to have to help herself in this situation. Yeah, and that's kind of a lot of the things that they do, trying to say that there's a medical convention, so all the hotels are booked. Detroit's a big fucking city. You can't tell me the medical convention is booking every single hotel in a major city like Detroit. It's just, these kind of convenient things that they put in just to explain why certain things wouldn't happen. But yeah.
Yeah, I get the commentary. I think the better film is to leave it out though, because once again, you have to suspend your disbelief. Like the cops are gonna investigate that. You know what I mean? If she's running around crazed up and there's a broken window. If they're gonna go to the house, they're gonna go the extra step and go to investigate. So I think they would. I think you just leave them out personally.
Not always, because I just watched Dahmer recently, and
1970s.
and I know it's a different time, but still, like they literally like just let a guy walk off with like Dahmer. And
speaking of, aren't people like calling Dahmer hot now because the actor that portrays him is like good looking?
Yeah, the same thing happened when we watched that other the Bundy movie there.
With Zac Efron.
Yeah, with Zac Efron. Yeah.
I guess Dahmer is creepy looking.
Yeah, he is.
I get it.
Evan Peters does a great job too. But back to the movie.
You make a great point though, Steve. Like I can't, just like we can't decide what is scary for women. I can't decide what's scary for African American. You know what I mean? So I'll stop about that one. But I still think pacing wise, it would have been cooler if she made the decision just to like, I got to go in and save him, because she went down there for Skarsgård when he was screaming, yelling for help, which that was another effective scene too. Like, is he like the whole time, is he luring her down there? Like, and back to that. How fucking dumb is Justin Long when he's doing the square footage of the house and he doesn't even care that there's a rape room?
I laughed so much at that room.
That scene was great. That scene was amazing.
He didn't, like, there's a video camera and like a bloody mattress, and I guess that's like Hollywood, right? You're oblivious to the actual real world, but it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
that to me was, it was another social commentary. Like when you're so about money, you don't give a shit about your surroundings. You're just trying to think, because I laughed too at that scene. I thought it was hilarious. To him, every square foot was like more money, right? So he gets giddy when he finds that long hallway, right? Which is so funny to me. And it was actually really like that scene. It brought a little bit of levity in a movie that needed some at some point, and that was kind of it did go on a little long. I don't know if it's just like went on and on and on. I think he did that for like 3-4 minutes. But still, it was I thought it was a funny scene.
Well, that's another moment where like the plot, they had to have conveniences to get him back in the basement. Let's make him be oblivious and square foot. Come on. He's thinking like a tunnel is gonna sell the house. Like, no fucking way.
You know what though? I'd be that guy. Honestly, if I bought a house and I noticed that there was like a creepy tunnel in my basement, I'd be giddy as hell, and I'd be like exploring it and filming it for YouTube, or like
absolutely. But you
taking
would be
pictures for you guys,
flashlights and something.
Yeah. And if I went into a room, I just bought a house, I'm going into the secret tunnel, and I see a camera and a mattress, I'd take a picture and send to you guys, like, oh my god, guys, look what I just found. Like I wouldn't be like creeped out because I own the house now. It's not like. And in his mind, it's his house, so there won't be anyone in there, right? That was his whole thinking, I think.
He's got. Okay, but that perspective though, you walk into a house, you just spot Steve, and there's like clearly there's a car outside, there's multiple bags, a laptop. I'd be like on edge, like, who's in my house?
Well, it was an Airbnb. I mean, it's
I guess.
I think he just thought they left, like they just vacated.
Yeah. Is it ever touched on like why Richard Brake's character is like living down there? Like, did he like lose the house like during like the recession or something?
That's
and like
he
like hid down there as like a means to kind of like keep living there?
No one found that chamber the whole time.
They never fleshed it out. I mean, I can understand like not finding that, because sure, like it's a secret,
Well, I know there's a fucking cord in the wall.
Well, yeah, I know, but
the first thing you see is you're pulling that fucking cord. Everybody.
Well, I think the first person that finds it though, like, wasn't it behind like something like on, like I think something falls off the, like I think it was being blocked, that rope. But anyway, like but they never really explain like why he's hiding down there. You know what I mean? And then the other question is like, I was gonna call her Pearl for whatever reason. Is like the Barbarian taking care of him? Like, who's feeding him? Like, who's getting him? He seems not in good health.
He had the bell thing set up.
Yeah.
And I think he had breast milk too on the side, didn't he?
Yeah. So it's all her that was taking care of him.
Yeesh. Fucking weird, man. She's like superhuman strength too.
So maybe he he's killing himself because maybe she's forcing him like to stay alive. You know what I mean? Or like she's like doing weird shit to him. Like I don't know, like torturing him like in his old age because like what she did, like what he did to her. Now like
I mean,
this barbarian.
he
I
was
don't
in a
know.
bed with a TV. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
bad of a
right,
situation.
He's watching
right.
his fucking rape tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So why is he? Yeah. So why does he kill himself? Like
I
I
don't know.
And he had the
still
gun
don't
there the whole
understand it.
time. It's not
Yeah.
like, you know, the gun just appeared there all of a
Justin
sudden.
did move his table closer to him, but I feel like he could have
Like, come
got
on.
it.
Yeah,
a little
seriously.
Fall out of bed. I'm just like devil's advocate.
Right.
Maybe
Maybe he was in pain. Maybe he was like just an old man and he was ready to go. You know.
maybe he thought Justin's character meant that he was busted.
Maybe I don't know though. I'm gonna take it as he's just old, right? And
So
maybe
just
he was in
old.
pain and he just wanted to end it.
Yeah. How predictable was it though when Justin gets that gun? You're like, oh, he's gonna shoot her. Like no
Yeah.
doubt, he's gonna shoot her, and he fucking shoots her. Like, damn it, Justin.
Yeah. All right. Should we touch on the end here? Like
Yeah, maybe.
when?
Yeah.
Right. So like, what do you guys think of the whole them escaping? And fucking Barbarian apparently like she comes out at night, I'm assuming to get food and other shit like that. She gets hit by a car and she's fucking like terminated. She just keeps coming back and they eventually run off to a water. Is it like a water tower? I want to call it or something like that. Yeah. Some sort of like water tower. They climb to the top. They're stuck. Barbarian's about to get them both. Justin Long's character, who, you know, I still think like there's ideas of, okay, maybe he's like, because like I remember there's a whole monologue there at one point where he's like, I think he's like, am I a bad person or am I a good person that did a bad thing? You know? And so like which was like an interesting, I think, like thing to like think about. And then you realize, no, he's just an absolute piece of shit person when he decides, I'm going to save my fucking self and throw this our lead character off the water tower. So Barbarian, because that's her baby. She has to go save her baby. And yeah, so he throws her off to sacrifice to save himself, and Barbarian and this our lead character basically fall to their possible death. And we'll get into it, I guess, once you guys discuss.
I laughed out loud because that shot of Barbarian jumping was so funny. And that's like a big gamble for Justin Long. Hey, I'll throw this person off this fucking roof. She'll jump after her.
Yeah, as opposed to just fucking throwing him off the roof out of revenge, you know?
But like, she breastfed Justin Long, so he's kind of like baby too, right? So
yeah, but I think she's more attached to baby one apparently.
Which we didn't know though, because we never saw anything like that.
Yeah,
which brings back to my point. Like,
it's true. They should have more interaction.
I'm telling you, fucking giant crib for a human would have been insane.
Yeah, do the whole like that whole baby fetish there that people have, where they adult babies, I think they call them. Do like that, but obviously like I was gonna say the sicker version. I don't know if adult babies aren't like already pretty sick, but it's very weird. But
what was that movie we watched, like Lemon or something? Grapefruit.
Honeydew.
Honeydew.
I was the only one that liked it. This one's kind of similar.
Yeah, they kind of had their little like mentally handicapped kind of thing going on, right? I don't know.
Yep.
I laughed. I was like, eesh. And she rips his fucking face apart.
I thought that probably hurt the movie a little bit for me and lowered my score a little bit, and I was unsure about it because I didn't love that ending. I thought after putting us through this experience that they put us through, there should have been a better ending than that. It was convoluted. It was kind of weird. It didn't sit right with me. I thought they could have found something better than that to end this particular movie with.
So I didn't mind that part so much because like it gave us the finality that Justin Long's character is a complete like piece of shit, like, you know, and he's a bad person. My problem with it was the very, very ending where it just sort of like ends like very abruptly when, you know, and honestly, it's a very effective scene though, when, you know, she's trying to get this our lead character like back to the lair because, you know, it's like her baby and stuff, and like you kind of like see into her eyes, and like you really feel like the emotion, I did anyway, in that scene, like where you're like, wow, this is just like a tortured soul, like this Barbarian. Like she's not No, but like I did feel, I wasn't crying, but I did feel really bad for this Barbarian character, like in that moment, because you're like, she's really not like a bad, like, you know, the whole movie, like you're supposed to be terrified of her and you think she's like this, you know, the villain of the movie, where really she's just a victim. And she just didn't know any better, really, the way she was raised and stuff like that. So I thought that was really effective, and you know, she puts her out of her misery, I guess you can say, and kills her. But then it, like, I don't know, like it's just like a weird tonal ending. Like I feel like it, you know, I think it could have like ended maybe like with a black screen or something as she shoots her, but like then like there's like this like really weird, I don't know, like send off that it just didn't.
Walking.
Yeah. And I didn't like that. It just didn't hit me the same way.
I agree.
Yeah, you guys want to get into the questions we got on the movie?
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
So the questions come from Greg, which is the first time that I recall that he sent in questions. So Greg, thank you very much. We appreciate you sending questions. The first one: at what point would you have walked away before the nightmare began? Like, I would have never been in this situation because A, I always check reviews before I book anything. B, if I don't know the place and it's not like a reputable place, not only do I Google Earth like where the area, but now I even go into VR to scope out the neighborhood. So there's no fucking way that I would go into a situation in a place like that, you know, especially like if I'm a woman and there's just too many risks. It didn't make sense to me. So I would have never been in a situation. But if I were in a situation where I get to an Airbnb and there's somebody already there and they, you know, they show me their receipt or whatever, and they're honestly, even if they booked all the hotels in that town, I would have driven as far as I need to just to get, you know, sleep somewhere else. Because
there's more Airbnb somewhere else. Yeah.
Anything. Like there's got to be a motel, even if you have to drive half an hour out of the city. Like it's not that big a deal. So.
Right. Yeah. Just fucking, yeah. I would have just drove like 45 minutes, an hour away. I don't care. I'm not sleeping in the same like place with a complete stranger I don't know.
Honestly, I would rather fucking sleep in my car at a truck stop than sleep with a random person in a fucking
24-hour Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. Ton of people do that for camping, right? So yeah, absolutely.
To be fair though, I've done it before. Like I shacked up once with a stranger at a horror con. Like they were like
Joe.
Like we just like split a room. Like it was in like a group, like the group for the con page, and like they were like, anyone want to split a room? And I was like, sure. And we did, and it was like fine, like it was normal, but like like in the moment, sure, I could have been murdered, or it could have been a fucking like
Right.
So like
tips, don't do that.
So when you say like I wouldn't let myself into these situations, like people can and will. My question is like, I think the better question is, like you're in this Airbnb, right? And you're by yourself. You find that door opening. Do you go down it? Like, I don't know. My curiosity would be really piqued. I think I might, honestly. Like, I don't, you know. Maybe if I heard something, I'd fucking turn around and run. But I think like if everything was quiet, I'm probably grabbing a flashlight and fucking exploring.
Yeah, so to answer the original question, if I'm the girl, I am bouncing. If I'm Skarsgård, I'm saying, sorry, I booked it. I'm here already. No, you're not coming in. And then, if I'm like Joe said, and I discover this fucking hidden tunnel, I'm definitely going in the fucking tunnel.
I'm the same way.
We're all dead.
But you're going in armed, though. You're not going in just willy-nilly like Justin Long with a fucking tape measure. Right.
Didn't he have a knife? He had a knife.
Yeah, he had
I thought Skarsgård had a knife.
No, it was like a steak knife.
Justin Long had a steak knife.
Justin Long had it. Oh, that's right. He cut himself. That's right, when he fell.
Yeah.
I'm definitely fucking exploring that shit.
Yeah. We're definitely that breed of people.
Like I was just fucking around in the mill.
Right,
It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So like, if there's a killer, he's definitely in there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Greg's second question. AJ, Justin Long's character, truly is a lousy human. What are your thoughts with how he tried to save his life?
Tried to save... throwing her off the tower?
Went by throwing her off, yeah.
Well, he had a chest at redemption and he blew it, so fuck him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, what I do... I don't know, like, what would you do in that situation, right? I think I would just accept my fate, like, right? Like, and just die. Like I would never like throw someone else off. Like I'm sorry, I
it
wouldn't even cross my mind.
Yeah,
Right, exactly, yeah.
because he was betting that she would jump after her, right? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No one would think that. Maybe push her into the monster. You know, I can see that being a thought, but throwing her off the water tower? No, I think you got to bob and weave, and then try to run back down the steps.
Right.
And just
Exactly.
don't stop running.
I'd probably just jump off the water tower and kill myself rather than let the barbarian eat me.
You break your legs and she takes you back to her lair anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
Bob and weave, man.
Yeah. If anything, I would have tried to push the barbarian off. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was weird.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that was basically I would never have thought of that. Like you guys said, that's not an option, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think there's
a normal thinking person isn't thinking that.
And there really is no redemption for Justin Long. I mean, he could make a good decision and sacrifice himself, but he's still at the end of the day a rapist, you know? And I was wondering, do you think Barbarian and the serial killer are homies with the fucking Don't Breathe guy? Isn't that the same neighborhood essentially?
Yeah,
it seems like the same neighborhood. Yeah.
That's where the other end of the tunnel is.
His turkey basters is waiting.
Right, exactly.
Ew, that's fucking gross. Remember that scene?
He's a good guy in part 2, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Am I a rapist? Yes.
Yes. Am I a murderer? Yep.
All right. So Greg's last question. Do you feel the brilliance of the movie is more of the unseen horrors or what is shown?
We see a lot.
We also don't see a lot though. Like that tape, right? I kind of wish we would have seen. Like I know like kind of like if it's rape, I don't want to see it, but I don't know. I thought it would be like torture or like maybe another Airbnb couple that they had taken or something. I don't know.
Right.
Does everyone go missing that takes this Airbnb?
Like,
probably has to,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I don't know. Not everyone probably goes and explores.
Yeah, but it comes
Yeah,
up.
but
remember?
exactly.
She comes up at night, right? Yeah, but why doesn't she bother them the first couple nights? Like obviously she's the one that opened the door that first night. But why isn't she leaving them alone? I guess why isn't she just going after them right away? I guess because we gotta have a movie.
Yeah, what about the general contractors that redid that house?
And that too. It's a great question, and I think I'm always a proponent of what you can come up in your head sometimes could be far worse than what you actually see on screen. So
yeah, my headcanon is Skarsgård's alive and he's brain dead and being force-fed breast milk.
There you go. We do never see his body, right? So it's possible. Yeah.
I think in this instance, I would have preferred to see more, to be honest with you. If they were going to go that deep already, I think we should have seen more stuff happening because I think they left a little bit too much unseen. You know, basically we only see the Barbarian character and like Richard Brake, we see so quickly that it doesn't register at all just how horrible it is down there. I wish we had seen more of what the tunnel looked like. What does the facility look like? Justin Long goes to that room. We don't see too much of it. Like it's pretty a quick scene where he goes into it. Richard Brake kills himself, and then he leaves that scene. I'm curious about the operation. Like, where are the other kids? Are they all dead? Right. Like, there's a lot of questions that I think we're missing, and so I do wish in this instance that we had seen more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a great question because like, why did he decide to keep this one particular one alive? You know what I mean? Like, I guess so he could procreate maybe with her and create more babies. I don't know, as disgusting as that is, but I guess
if that's the case, are there other babies? Like, did she have a baby and then it died, so that's why she's babying other people? Like, it's just there's a lot of questions still, you know.
I think that's quite possible because, like, so we are to assume, you know, she's maybe like the 6th or 7th inbred of incest or whatever. So you would think after a while, babies aren't surviving after that many, you know, layers of incest.
Honestly, if I'm compared to something, what I was expecting was that banned episode of the X-Files. If anyone has seen that, Brothers. I think Todd, yeah. So
fucking terrifying, man.
I think that's what I was expecting to be down there essentially, and the fact that we only got one was a little disappointing to me, and so I wish we had seen more. Even if they don't do anything, even if we just go into a room and they're all there, just doing their thing, I think it would have been more effective than just seeing the Barbarian throughout the film.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
Also, kind of like the end of House of Thousand Corpses too, where you go into Dr. Satan's just like lair, and there's a bunch of mentally handicapped people and open surgery going on. Like that's what I kind of expected, like something far worse than just this psycho or mutant lady. But
yeah, and it all comes down to that one line in the fucking film that raised my expectations too high. You take out that one line, my expectations would automatically be lower, and I would have maybe accepted the end of the film more. But that one line really raised the bar for me, and it then never reached that bar. So I would cut that line, to be honest, if you're not going to have more horrors than what we see.
Yeah, I think keep that line and then say they come out at night, not she comes out at night, and then the viewers would have caught that, like, oh fuck.
Right. I mean, I understand the line because like Richard Brake really is the true monster,
Right.
So I mean, it makes sense, but
the way it was delivered made me think there was more. And
no, exactly. It was kind of a bait and switch. He's just in bed and shoots himself.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's all I had on it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
It was good. It was a good film. Yeah.
And like I said, my review, like I thought X was going to be the weird one this year. This one's clearly the weird one, and X is weird.
Yeah, and I was saying this to Steve, I think the other day when we both got out of the movie theater. I'm kind of surprised it's got like a wide release because like it is a very like bizarre, weird movie to get a wide release like this. So I think that's great though. I think it's great for horror that movies like this are finding wide releases, even though doesn't seem like many people are going to see it, but hopefully it finds some life once it hits home video.
So far. It's not bad.
Did it really? Made that much? All right, good. All right, awesome.
I think
I'm
Pearl's
happy
at like
to hear
10
that.
though, so Pearl's not doing as well. But
yeah, I'm excited for Pearl, man. I still can't wait to see that. I think maybe once that hits home release, we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think it's a quick home release if I remember. They had a date and everything. It was like
November 14th, I believe.
Yeah, so we could do it, and things will slow down by then. So
right, yeah. Awesome.
So rate it.
Yeah, I'm a 4 out of 5 on this one, which I think is about an 8 out of 10. Did have issues, but it was predictable but extremely original too at the same time. So yeah, I'm sticking with the 8 or 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think I said this in my Letterboxd review, but in a way, like I felt like this was like an updated version of Castle Freak, like in a lot of ways. Like if like the Castle Freak remake was this, it would have been like the best Castle Freak movie like ever made. So man, I feel like this is a movie that's you're either going to really like or you're going to absolutely hate. Like, I feel like there's no middle ground with this movie. You're either going to go along for the ride of this or you're not. And this movie was just so like bonkers, batshit crazy. Like I was like hooked. And I think a big part of that is that opening 35, 40 minutes with Bill Skarsgård and our lead actress there. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting her name, but credit to her. And the two of them are just great. And I think without that opening, like maybe the movie doesn't hit as well, but they do a great job of, throwing you off the scent of the twists, that when the twist does finally hit, it's just like kind of like, whoa, like it just really fucking hits you. So yeah, it's definitely my top 10 for this year so far. And I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 as well.
I'm right there with, both of you, 8 out of 10. So her name's Georgina Campbell. And her and Bill Skarsgård do such a good job riffing off each other where you really don't know when it's going to pop off, right? Because I really thought this was more of a home invasion type film rather than what we ended up getting. So it was brilliant in the way that it sets up one genre, like Cody said, and then completely flips the genre around. I do think the Justin Long thing, it didn't hit as hard as the first segment. So by having that second, you're kind of disappointed because you've seen kind of what the movie's at its best. And then, it's okay. It's an okay segment, but it's not great. So there's room for improvement, but an 8, I still really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the experience of it, just not knowing what the fuck was going to happen next. And I enjoyed that feeling in the movie. It was nice for once because it's very rare when we cover horror, once a week, every single week without missing a beat. We tend to know a lot of what's coming out. We've seen trailers, we've heard the news, we've heard rumors, we're in horror groups, to go into a movie completely blind, a theater movie. Like I've seen a lot of Tubi Fit still thing that I don't see anything about, but to see a mainstream movie in theaters, never seen the trailer, didn't know the plot, was incredible.
It was nice.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah.
It was nice. So, and by this point you've been spoiled to death, but yeah, I recommend people going into movies like this blind. It's a good experience. So, yeah.
Well said.
Did you guys get any good trailers going into this one?
Smile was just played again. I saw that one already.
Same.
Halloween.
Pray for the Devil.
Halloween Ends.
I can't wait for that one.
I
for
still
the
have
Devil
yet to
looks
see a
good.
Pray for the Devil trailer.
Really?
Like,
Really?
yeah, I'm not getting it at my theaters.
It's my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Like
Wow.
for me.
Okay, awesome.
Well, you
But
really do like the religious.
I love
exorcism
religious
stuff,
horror. Yeah, so it's right down my alley. It's a nun that's
Right
an
up your boot
exorcist. Like, exactly. Make that a porno and I'm in heaven.
I found you it. I'll send you a link.
Yeah. No, it's that's probably the one I'm most excited about. But I got the same ones. Halloween Ends. I got
Too bad we
Smile.
don't have enough time to see a movie that's. I mean, we're seeing Hocus Pocus, but too bad we don't have enough time to see a movie. We're out there having fun.
Yeah, in Texas maybe we'll have time to
we'll have
watch
time.
something together.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week the
All right.
big Munsters / Hocus Pocus 2 episode.
Sorry. My favorite thing about the whole Sherry Moon Zombie thing is all these fucking memes, like of Rob Zombie's jaws and it's her fucking face and everything else.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Right. Oh yeah, I can't. Like, I'm kind of excited to watch it because we've talked about it so much. It's like the end of a long chapter in our podcast history. To finally get to watch it and talk about it, I'm psyched about it. So, Joe,
All right.
you want to take us away?
Yes, I sure can. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening this week. I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion of Barbarian. Don't forget to follow us on all our forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, the best way to stay up to date with us is our Discord. Just message us or send us an email, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com, and we will get you that invite link to the Discord. So many great members in that community. And if you just want to hang out and just talk to fellow horror fans, that is definitely the best way to do it. Yeah. Don't forget about our events, October 15th with Damien Maffei and October 22nd, of course, with Omri Katz. Both going to be awesome events both in Salem, Massachusetts at the Silver Moon Comics store. And yeah, next week, Hocus Pocus 2 and the Munsters. It's going to be a great time. And I think that's really it. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.